All right, and we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just three nerdy veterans geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to let our guests real quick introduce themselves. We will start with Top. So Billy, you get to go first today. I know you're not used to that.
Oh no, I'm nervous. I'm usually first. I'm usually first. Ask.
You know, that's not something to be proud of, especially for
Look, man, you
my
gotta own
partners.
it. Look, man, you gotta own it. Anyways, hi, I'm Billy. Call sign is Archangel in the Galaxy's Edge community. Written by that guy. And JR asked me to be here to talk about stuff and things and stupid nerdy stuff. So you're welcome. I have arrived.
Stuff and things. That's going to be a new quotable thing for us. We're gonna put that on T-shirts. Let's talk about stuff and things. You are a marketing genius, sir.
That's what I do.
All right, Dan, you want to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Yeah, so I'm Dan Cadwell. I'm DO0117 Swordfish in the Discord. I am told that I run the Discord and I piss off a lot of people, so it's fantastic. JR likes to come in and post a whole bunch of illicit stuff, and then I get to yell at him. But yeah, other than that, the only other thing that I'd have done is the first GE meetup. So yeah.
I mean, if you're not going to post multi memes in a meme channel,
You are the heart and soul of GE, Daniel.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I mean, if you're not Dan, if you're not going to show salty memes, why even have a meme channel?
He's got a point. Because don't forget, Daniel says, "Oh, I get to JR post these things, and I get to yell at him and then delete them while saving them for himself."
I mean, to be fair,
that is actually what I do. 100%.
To be fair, the memes that I've heard that JR posts, let's just call it, it's a little too Navy.
Look, all right, I did drive boats for the Army. Don't hate. But speaking of, Nick, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm the janitor at Galaxy's Edge, and I take out the trash Mondays and Tuesdays. I mop the floors Tuesdays and Thursdays, so double duty on Tuesdays. Tuesdays is what I call bad day. I steal a lot of pens. I steal a lot of paper. There's some other people that work here. They don't make eye contact with me. I haven't got any swag or any books or anything. Jason says I'm quote unquote not qualified. He also says that's for people and you're not people.
There's an epic picture floating around of you vacuuming the space shuttle. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't even know why I'm here anymore. But, what else am I going to do with the criminal record that I have? Like, at the end of the day, I'm thankful to have this job. And sure, I've had to go into the copy room and do stuff in the dark to keep it. But, which one of us hasn't? And Walt is a gentle lover. So all in all, I pretty much hate my life.
Yeah, hey, but you got a pretty good wife, right?
I got a good life or a good wife?
Yes.
Oh, I got a great wife. She's great. Her name is the Medusa, and she has looks that kill. Any money that I bring home from Galaxy's Edge, which is not much, she spends immediately, and then tells me to write more Tyrus Rex if I know it's good for me. Bitch. She says that in a funny way. But it still kind of hurts. I mean, since this isn't being publicly aired or anything, I'll tell you, I don't like it personally.
I mean, last time I talked to you about it, you said that she did sprinkle some change so you could go buy a donut every now and then. So, I mean, that's nice.
One day in last winter, I was writing and it was really cold in my office, which you can see looks like a garage. This is where I'm supposed to stay until I produce words. And it was really cold that day and my fingers were bleeding and raw from typing my 1984 keyboard. And so I just thought I'd go in and maybe have some hot water and warm them up. And she pepper sprayed me and made me go back out and write more words.
I mean, that's just what you get.
The reason I call her Medusa is you don't want to look her in the eye because she'll cut you. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
It's a hard job being the emperor, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely pass on being the emperor. I'd like a DO. I'd like to skirt around in the woods with Daniel and fucking shoot shit and, maybe, I don't know, do something inappropriate that you regret. I bet there was a lot of that out there.
We did.
I have to write words.
We did end up having potato cannons and then made glow-in-the-dark tracer potatoes when it got dark, and the neighbors did call, and they were like, hey, the neighbor is shooting potato cannons, and the sheriff's like, how do you know that they're potato cannons? Well, we keep getting potatoes with glow sticks shoved in them flying into our yard.
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this? Because let me write that down. That's really good. I live on some acreage. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it works out fucking phenomenally. You just fucking crack a glow stick and...
You should dip him in glow-in-the-dark paint, shoot him.
That's what I was thinking.
And then file a MUFON report.
It's Florida. Anything's possible, Billy.
I mean, I could do it from Gatorback.
Yeah.
I really could.
Yeah.
Although in Florida, you could just paint the actual gator and then throw it like a glow-in-the-dark gator.
I think that in Florida, if you paint a alligator...
it's actually a hate crime.
Glow in the dark paint, and then you shoot it in a cannon. I think you end up getting some kind of government position. You're like, I think that's how you become governor.
No, yeah, that tracks.
That and you chain smoke half a pack of Pall Malls and shotgun some Pabst, and then they're that guy's a governor right there.
So Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Come on,
Tuesday.
So the second part of the introduction, dear listener, if you haven't stopped laughing yet, is how we first found this property. So I'm going to tell you something we haven't actually talked about before, but a secret government organization who we cannot actually name because we signed NDAs. They came and they said, hey, do you want to read these classified documents? And then they disguised them as novels and sold them to the world. But if you really know, it's all real.
Facts.
Yeah, it's totally
it's all real.
Yeah. Article 19, baby.
Let's go. Ooh, I wear that shirt and people go, what's Article 19? And I said, what we should do. And they go, I don't get it. And I'm like, read these books. You'll understand.
Last night, the FBI, people don't cover this on the news, but the FBI did go around arresting people last night. There was a huge, 50 guys got picked up. Oh, and nice. I'm so sitting around waiting to end up in some windowless office answering. Now, you write a book series, Galaxy's Edge, right? Yeah, I mean, Jason mainly writes it. I just mop. And what can you tell us about Article 19?
That was Jason's oldest child's idea.
I just am the front man. I don't even write. But Jason, he really hates the government. And he's always talking about his schemes and his plans and getting the militia together. And he loves explosives.
I've been trying to get JR out to my commune up here, and he just is not having it for some reason. I don't get it.
So what you're saying is that maybe they had leaked copies of unpublished drafts, and you just had to make sure they got seized back up. Is that what happened, Nick?
I don't want to freak anybody out, but I do think the FBI has actually tried to infiltrate Galaxy's Edge. Because when you look at the dumb shit that the FBI tries to infiltrate. Why not Galaxy's Edge? You guys are out in the woods, training militia. Daniel has a compound up in the Northwest. If I were the FBI, I'd be in this. And JR,
no, even worse on my end. They go, hey, we're checking Galaxy's Edge's shipping records here. Who's this asshole in Florida that gets his stuff shipped to Dark Ops Southern Command? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, we're all going to the FEMA camp.
All right. So before we talk about the community building aspect, if you read the title, people.
The community building is say goodbye to your family and friends. You're going to get black bagged.
Get in the van.
But I've met some of your families, and I've seen the look in some of your eyes, and I see that you probably wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
Nick, I'll just say this. You've spoken to my mother and my sister and my brother on Facebook. Great. Come on.
Well, they're going to
they'll be in the van with you, though.
Yeah, they'll be in there with us. They'll be like, this is awesome. It's happening. Yes.
But I've had conversations with JR at points where he was like, I would rather be black bagged than do what I have to do today.
So to get people who might not know what Galaxy's Edge is, and if you live under a rock or I don't know, you don't like science fiction, but Nick, can you tell us a little bit about what Galaxy's Edge is and how that universe came to be?
It's the premier gay science fiction space marine series. No, just joking. I just want to see if I can get Billy to laugh. Daniel opted out right at that point. He was out.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
I'm out. I'm out of here.
He's all gay. I had no idea. I thought you guys just like to hug.
Daniel's a civilian. It's okay.
Well, I mean, when Kale did first come up here, I mean, I came up right behind him, gave him a proper reach around like you do. You know, that's just what you do in the Legion.
No, Galaxy's Edge. If there's anybody actually paying attention to this who is like incurious, which is not even a word, and I write for a living, of what Galaxy's Edge is. It's honestly, I think it's one of the best selling science fiction series out there right now. It's up around 30 books. So if you want to dive in at any point, there's a bunch of entry points. We can tell you about that. But just basically think, what if Star Wars and G.I. Joe had a baby? And this is it. And it was born out of the frustration of Disney's acquisition of Star Wars. And you can see how wrong we were by how satisfied the fans are. But basically, we just said, well, we'll go, like Bender in Futurama.
Blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, we'll just go make our own Star Wars. And we did. And apparently it was well received. And it's really rolling. We started a second property, which is intellectual property, which is called Forgotten Ruin, which is Rangers. Who is deboning a midget?
It's his drugs. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, drugs.
Yeah, it's part of the militia uppers. It's the militia uppers.
Have to be constantly on drugs,
Yeah, Billy sporting the shirt. Born to Gob Jabba is a pivotal character in the Forgotten Ruin universe. So if you like Dungeons and Dragons and you like U.S. Army Rangers, well then, Forgotten Ruin is a series for you.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
And they actually wanted to take a moment, Billy, to thank you with all of the things you've bought on the merch store. Jason's sending all 27 of his kids to college, so he appreciates that.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
All right, so before we get into the
amazed anyone wants the merch. I mean, like, we think about it a lot and we love it, and we'll make things
people
and like
some
people will buy it. Some people, people love it, but like, I mean, that's just fun. Like, and like the cool stories are like, when people meet each other out and about and they're like KTF, like those are just hilarious stories. So I think we have like among indie authors, we have the best merch. Like the only people
100%.
that are bigger than us that are corporations that have like merch departments where the people actually working on the merch could care less. We actually care, and we pay Jason's children to care.
As
they sweat.
You got to work through your stopper.
Yeah. Your own packing department. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, the merch I'm excited about, which I hope is going to drop this month, is the Obsidian Crow technical poster.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
You will want to be alone in your bunk with it.
I've seen the concept art you've shared on the Galaxy Edge podcast.
I need all of you to buy that. There's only 50 copies. I need all of you to buy that. Yep, the Forgotten Ruin map right there, which is glorious.
Mm-hmm.
I need everybody to buy that Obsidian Crow technical poster because it was my idea. And whenever I have an idea and it's a bad idea, Jason gloats over it. Just gloats. And he's all, well, he'll always be like, it's not as good as the G.I. Joe KTF logo. I'm like, nothing is, Jason. But I'd like to get one win here, and I need the Obsidian Crow poster to work. So all of you bastards go buy that thing. Otherwise, I'm going to start making characters gay. And I'm going to write really inappropriate long gay sex scenes.
Joke's on you. I'm already in the book series under Reservist 2, and you can't change that.
Retroactively gay.
I will have the awaken. That novel will be called The Awakening of Swordfish.
Oh boy.
So by that,
I hope
it'll be 3 words.
Buy 3 copies of that damn poster if you don't want to be gay.
Yeah. Swordfish, Your Awakening book will contain 3. It'll be 900 pages. You'll open it up to the middle, and it'll be 3 words. It'll say "Swordfish is gay," written by Nick Cole.
Yeah.
I can say that nobody else in the world will have a whole book written about them by Nick Cole. So I mean that's still good.
That's pretty top tier.
Yeah.
That might make it a collector's item. You should pay more for it in addition to buying the poster.
Exactly.
One M249 saw as acquired on Gunbroker. Sent to me will make you the hero of Galaxy's Edge.
I mean, that's not asking a lot of people.
It's
actually not asking a lot.
No, I've found them on there for as low as $8,000. I'm not saying I've looked a lot.
I found one for $7,500.
Oh, nice.
And it's semi, and I am perfectly fine with that because I can squeeze the trigger a lot.
Fair, yeah.
Okay. So before we start talking about the fandom angle, Billy or Daniel, did you have questions you want to ask Nick about the creation of the universe you haven't had a chance to ask him yet?
I mean, I've been asking Nick these questions since I think I popped on the podcast initially about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Daniel always asks the same question.
When can my character be gay?
I like novels about fighter pilots.
Exactly.
When are you going to write a novel about a fighter pilot? And then I always say, well, I want to write a standalone about the Bloody Baron. And then Daniel says, that would be great. I play a lot of Ace Combat 6. And then I go, yeah, that's a good game. And Daniel goes, yep.
No, that was oddball.
Yep, it sure is.
And then I go,
good talk.
Well, that's it. And Daniel goes, I like Maverick. And I go, yeah, that was a good movie. And he's like,
I actually haven't seen that yet. I've heard it's good though.
Well, what? Why haven't you seen it?
Dude, I've been so busy.
Are you not like an American or something?
I feel like you're a commie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I must be a commie.
Oh, wait, that's a silly question. I've spoken to Daniel.
So one of the things
I would think of all the people constantly your love of Ace Combat, you're constantly questioning me for a Bloody Baron novel. That day one, you would have been sitting in that theater with a giant John Goodman-sized box of popcorn.
You're right. I had plans for that, and life said no, and I'm like, okay. Can
I second his want for a Bloody Baron novel? Because that would be pretty dope.
Yeah,
I like that character.
I think so. If you listen to Jason and I's Insiders podcast, a week ago, or maybe this week or whatever, we're moving into, now that season 3 is done, we're moving into expansion mode of the galaxy. And so there will be 4 expansion novels this year that step away from the main arc and tell stories. And so the 2 that I am going to helm is, one is a Prometheus novel, and the other will be a Bloody Baron novel or a Heartswick's Hullbusters novel. Ooh. And I really kind of want to, I can't decide which, maybe I should just write all of them. Ooh. But I'll also be helming the Sergeant Thor series this year. So there's a lot. But Daniel, I don't even Jason has seen Top Gun Maverick, and he doesn't have any fun ever.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I know. Unless you consider spreadsheets and shipping fun.
He might, actually.
Oh, Jason loves spreadsheets.
It was funny because when he came up, he's just like, all right, so all this, I can't come back with it because we don't have space for this. So you make it disappear. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I slipped Kale some hats and stuff like that. So that way him and Billy could hand them out to the Kill Team Reaver people.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
So when you and Jason started writing this series, originally, there was probably a little bit of mercenary action in there. You want to write what people want to read. The market wasn't fulfilling that. and you thought, hey, we could make a little bit of donut money for this. Did you know when you guys were doing it, like, did you envision long term to see the kind of community that built around it, or did that surprise you?
Oh, are you talking to me? I thought that was Billy's question. I was like, go, Billy. I'm interested in that answer. That's a good one.
That's a banger, dude.
I'd like to know what.
I would too. I would too. Shit.
I like the way JR laughs.
You're gonna kill me here. I'm gonna like my heart's gonna explode. I'm laughing so god dang much.
It's like a murderous Keebler elf.
It is.
That's one on my marketing. Murderous Keebler elf.
Murderous Keebler. I had no idea, and I'm often honest about these things. I did not want to write this at all. I was busy doing my important novels like The End of the World as We Knew It, and Control Alt Revolt, and Soda Pop Soldier. And I was working on this project called Apocalypse Weird with some big time indie authors. And we were all going to do a shared universe. And then, because all indie authors are default setting assholes, they had a fight. And they annihilated, and I was the last man standing. And so I picked up this thing called Apocalypse Weird, and I tried to make it work. When Jason was just kind of getting started out, and he kind of came along, and we got to be buddies, and I really liked, he was just kind of, he'd published a novel, and he was learning the ropes, and so, I mean, I gave him what I knew, which ain't much. But I liked, we ended up trying to save an unsavable company. And then finally one day I had it, and I just closed it. Like, the stupid loser writers were literally trying to form a union and mutiny on us. It was the worst experience. So I didn't need them. I was a trade pub author and all that kind of stuff. So I nuked it, closed the company, and then Jason and I had a conversation where we arrived at let's do this thing. Let's do a shared project together. And Jason asked, I asked Jason the question I asked, because I like to work with writers. And I like to kind of mentor them and help them. And because I want everybody to be able to do this, because I think it's a good thing to do in your life, to have a book written or to whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I said to Jason, I said, what do you want to write? Or what do you like? And because I try to tell people, you should write the junk food that you want to read. Don't try to write what other people are writing, and don't try to write the great American novel and be successful and everything like that. So I asked Jason, I said, well, what do you like? And he goes, well, I like Star Wars and G.I. Joe. And I said, okay, we'll write that. And he goes, well, I can't write that. It's already been written. I'm like, well, no, it has been written. You're not going to write about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Duke and Scarlet and the Baroness. But you can write about that type of universe, and you can make archetypes of those characters, and you can make it your own. And within one paragraph, it will be totally different than those things. But those are your navigational points. And then he turned around to me and he said, okay, but I want you to write it with me. And I had just been fired from Trade Pub because that's how successful I was. And because actually I wasn't fired because of my success level. I was fired because I wouldn't play ball on a certain issue that we won't talk about here, because no one wants to talk about that shit. And I kind of was getting a reputation for being mouthy, if you haven't figured out.
What?
And no one wanted to really work with me. And I kind of figured my career was over to an extent. And I was just going to go back, because I'd been at HarperCollins. I was just going to go back to indie writing and blah, blah, blah. And I liked Jason, and I felt that all the work that he had done on Apocalypse Weird, I owed him at least kind of helping him, do this project. So we both started working on it, and Jason was the one with the vision of making it a Star Wars style thing. And he would tell me about how involved he'd been with the Star Wars Insiders program. And him and his brother are huge fans, his brother even more so. And he was just saying he understood where where Star Wars even made its missteps and lost its fandom. So what we tried to do was, from the get-go, build a subscriber program. Hey, here's some artwork we're doing. Hey, here's some free chapters. Here's what we're working on. And we were working on one book to kind of launch with. Then we had a conversation with an author, Richard Fox, who is another Space Marine author. And he said, listen, there's this new thing. It's called rapid release. And if you can just like drop a book every month, you can do really good on your sales. So we cobbled together what we had. And Jason had been working on Legionnaires, kind of a separate project. And we bent it into the entire thing with Galactic Outlaws. And then we just began to month by month, just write a book. Each of us 35, 40,000 words, jam. But Legionnaire from the get-go was successful and everybody was really excited about it. And then lo and behold, Galactic Outlaws hits a month later. Back in 2017, that was not the norm. That was not the standard. Usually in Amazon indie writing, you just wrote a book and then you waited a year for everybody to tell you it was a success. And then you wrote another book and blah, blah, blah. But the rapid release method, which is now the way to do it, it started back then. And that's where we saw our success. And then Podium came along, and that's a big factor in our success. And they took forever to get the audiobooks released, but they packaged 2 small books into large books. They got us R.C. Bray, who was not necessarily a rock star yet, but becoming one. And, thanks to God, all of these factors, no one single factor, created something that is beyond our expectations. But we knew what our goal was because Jason knew what that goal was, which was to create a Star Wars-like fandom. I don't like the word fandom, but people who enjoy this and to take care of them in the ways that Lucas and Disney failed. And because we looked at everybody, because I don't know if everybody in this conversation had that experience, but the initial Galaxy Edge readers were so pissed at Disney. We thought of them as wounded little pit bulls, and we were going to take care of them. And we vowed we will never sell to Disney. We will never sell to anybody. We will always take care of this. We've had Hollywood offers. We always tell them that we're not turning it over for you to do whatever you want. We will be involved, and it will be our vision. And then they like, oh, screw you. We were going to make Keel gay. And we're like, well, I guess this doesn't work. And Jason's like, well, Keel could be gay. And I'm like, no, Jason, have principles. And Jason's like, I need money.
Take a stand. I have 7 children. Help me.
And sometimes the roles reverse, and I want Ferrari money, and Jason yells at me to be a man. But to both of us, we have held to our guns and kept going. Having said all that, that we anticipated all this and everything like that, the answer is we are still absolutely surprised that people love it at this level. And every conversation we have, I can guarantee you, we have to make decisions all the time about who to work with, what to do, how to do it. And we always say, will this live up to their standards? Because the readers, listeners too, come first. And you would be surprised at the amount of stuff we have just taken out behind the outhouse and shot in the back of the head. Other writers even. Not literally, maybe wanted to, because it just wasn't up to snuff. And it wasn't worthy of you guys. Because we, when someone gets a tattoo of the Legion crest on their arm, that reminds us to take this serious. Because they take it serious. So we do. And at times it's been a rough road. And at times it's like, man, I can't believe I fell ass backward into success. Thank you, God.
Very
okay,
nice.
That was wow, more serious than I expected from you, but very moving. And I'm hoping Jason listens back to that.
Jason doesn't listen to this. I'm a moving target.
Jason never listens to podcasts.
Jason
He's
never
on them
listens
and he leaves.
He has too much to do.
I have a question for you there, Nick.
Sure.
Other than was there an outside motivator other than the love of G.I. Joe that was included with that where does the love for the 75th come from? Is it a place in specific, or is it just because they are so in fact badass all the time, constantly?
They are I had in my military experience, I had experience with Rangers, and it made a huge impression on me. And I considered them and that unit to be what you were supposed to aim for as a soldier. And I look at the Rangers compared to a lot of other, Secret Squirrel units, Dark Ops units, Special Forces units, all this kind of stuff. And the Rangers are the only ones that, in my opinion, do it right. As in, they really do embrace warrior culture for warrior culture. And that Ranger creed, the Rangers are older than the U.S. Army.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it goes back to the founding of this country, and it's incredible. And almost every Ranger I've met, I just dug on a personal level, and just really practical, interesting guys. And so Jason had that same experience too, with one of his contacts. And then what honestly came out of Legionnaire was something that I didn't understand, because I'm an older soldier from the 80s and the early 90s. And the military that I was in was one way, and I admired it, and it was great. And my officers were Achilles, and my fellow soldiers were Spartans. And that's, my experience, and I left. Well, the guys in the GWAT didn't have that. The guys in the GWAT had some pretty bad leadership, and they were pretty upset. And I didn't understand that at first. And the things that Jason was writing, I was like, that's not the military. And Jason said to me, it may not be yours, but it is these guys. And he gave me specific experiences. And I began, and what Galaxy's Edges taught me, and because of my experience with the readers and their stories and everything like that, is that we have gone horribly wrong. And something needs to be done. And so Galaxy's Edge had this ingrained into it that if our country wasn't going to do it and our military services weren't going to do it, we were going to keep what warrior culture is alive. And then we doubled down on that in Forgotten Ruin, because whatever's going on now, I don't know, but there's going to come a time when we need to get back to these basics, or little guys and girls are going to want to have to go off and join the military. And we want to give them an example of what that is like, and what's expected of you, and all those kinds of things. So, an outside contributing factor was what the hell ever happened in the GWAT. And I think that somehow, it just got way too politicized, the military. It was not that politicized in my day. And so this is an address, and that led to Article 19. And again, the things that we were writing in Article 19, I think some of that was in my hard drive because of where I'm at politically and stuff like that. But in no way, shape, or form did I nail how it turned out. I was just making shit up, and everything like that, and blah, blah, blah. But where the culture has gone, it's almost like we have the House of Reason now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that was the case. Maybe it was. I don't know. So it's interesting. There were real world political outsides too. Then Galactic Outlaws, the Tyrus Rex portions, were heavily influenced by Conan, by a real soldier that I knew, and by the movie True Grit, because I really liked the old gunfighter and the little girl kind of interplay. And then as we began to play with the kind of Star Wars concept, we were like, well, this is kind of an Obi-Wan character. He's an old soldier. Let's give him space Alzheimer's. And one of my fellow authors had just I'd been helping, him kind of plan a novel that he was doing where he had an assassin who had Alzheimer's. And I thought, well, that's an interesting, fun technique, playing with memory like that. And then, Jason and I are both actors in training. And so we just began to take those little details and build and build and build. But, I think the Savages come from Jason just kind of needing a kind of a Clone Wars kind of thing. And he goes, oh, well, I'll call it the Savage Wars. And we had no idea what the Savages, because they weren't part of the main story in the beginning, and they were like, oh, okay, well, then this is what happens. And you just kind of yes and you keep building and building and building. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now we start talking a little bit about the how that grew into community. So we're gonna start with you first because I know you got to bounce, Daniel. But how did you first find the Galaxy's Edge universe?
Um, I found Galaxy's Edge probably, as a lot of people do, which is going through Audible, and then eventually keep seeing Galaxy's Edge Part 1 pop up. And I'm just like, all right, well, I've listened to all of Undying Mercenaries at the time, and I think I'd finish a couple other series. I'm like, oh, I'll check out this one. Military sci-fi, you can't go wrong with it. Mostly. There's a couple ones where I'm just like, oh, but this ain't one of them, thankfully. So I started listening to that. I got done with just about most of season one because I started listening around 2019, and towards the end, I end up hearing about like a Discord, and I'm like, I don't know what Discord is, so I ended up, making an account, popping on, and then then I found essentially my tribe, and yeah, from then on, I just helped out. Uh, Walt was the main person that was running it at the time, and you know, we just kind of helped by allowing people to like make up a persona to an extent. Pick your numbers. Come up with a call sign. Let's have fun with it. Let's get some different roles and stuff, like, oh, I'm going to come in as like a Repub Marine or something like that, or a Legionnaire, or in JR's case, Legionnaire Reserve,
They
just
had
so that
donuts.
way, yeah, it's understandable. Donuts are important. So, yeah, I mean, I
So
that's how I got into it.
So how did that go from, yes, I really like these books. This was kind of cool. Let me check this Discord out to I run the Discord and I plan this event that we're going to segue into. Like that's a big commitment and a leap of faith because that's a lot of time you put into planning that event.
Yeah, so basically, I I like to help make things better and build communities. I've always had that mindset. So when I came into Discord, I was like, "Oh, hey, let me help you out with getting this all set up and making it so you don't have to work so hard and stuff like that." Because I knew Walt was, doing a full-time job and then doing writing and then doing, you know, laundry list of stuff that he needed to do. And eventually one day he's like, "Hey, man, you've kind of got your finger on the pulse over here. Why don't you just take it over and we'll call it good." I'm like, "What? Why me?" And he's like, "You seem to got it handled." So from that point, I got to thinking about like, oh yeah, I'll help out more and show up on podcasts and stuff and support the authors and help push those DO subscriptions, because that's what really takes care of Nick's donut addiction.
That's true.
Um,
Thank you. You keep me in donuts.
but
You got to have your priorities.
yeah, the Galaxy's Edge runs on donuts, so
Well,
you
I
know,
mean, Galaxy's Edge runs on exactly Daniel and guys like Daniel and Billy and you, JR, who've just like the main job of Jason and I is to work the rifle, and the rifle is making novels. And like there have been days, like, and especially early on, where we would have to fix stuff or do things, and it would just be like, I remember like Jason drove himself nuts building the subscription thing. Like that was hand cobbled together because at the time we saw people getting dumped from Patreon and stuff like that, and we're like, well, it's really easy if we just make our own. And so Jason started down that track. But if the people doing it who are making it, or some like corporate employee, and you pay him $8 an hour to come in and answer emails and blah blah, do they really care? Is it really all of us? I don't know. What I found is that some people want to get in and just have something to do and work, and like Daniel, like to build it and then meet people, and they dig each other and they have fun and they hang out at night. And it's like, well, why deny them that? Like if they want to do it and be part of it, like let's just all have fun, because we started this. I mean, as much as we make a little money or whatever, we started this because we saw that people felt disenfranchised from a major IP, and we're like, well, we could all do fun stuff together. which I think is kind of like one of the best human endeavors. I don't like it when someone just gets up and says, you know, I'm a pharaoh and I got a whip and you're all going to work. I mean, we all have to work. We all got to make money. But some of the really coolest things that are ever happened is when a group of people, like if you go back to the theater and traveling circus stuff and guys and blah, 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 it was a bunch of people who got together, a bunch of weirdos and said, well, why don't we act stuff out together, and maybe we can make some money. And then seems like a pretty fun life to me. Can we do that nowadays with I mean, if we all lived in the same village, yeah, but one of us lives in Florida. One of us lives in the Northwest. JR is in Supermax confinement somewhere in Idaho. I don't know. I'm not even in the United States.
So with that being said, Daniel, it's a big leap to go from, I think I'll run this Discord and appear on a podcast that I can do from my home to I'm going to turn my home into somewhere between a cult revival and a meetup. Not quite a convention because you camped outside, but like that's a big leap. So what made you do that?
I mean, I grew up. For those that know, there's this medieval reenactment group called the SCA, which is a Society for Creative Anachronism. So I grew up in that community of hosting events at people's properties and stuff if they have the land, and getting together with shared interests. And so for me, it's very easy to be like, well, I've run like events out here before. I've had people on horses doing jousting, all that kind of stuff. I can certainly have people come out here and do airsoft and shoot each other, and we can hop on scooters and do drive-bys and piss off Kale because that was entirely worth it. I don't know if he told you about that, Billy, but I did drive by on a scooter and I shot him, and he's just like, I swear to God, man, I'm gonna get you by the end of this weekend, and he did. But yeah, I mean, having that background made it a lot or very easy for me to take this to the next step and basically say, okay, we got our ticket site figured out, we got a website slapped together pretty much last minute, and we got our general schedule planned. Here's where it is, and here, we'll get everything set up. And it was really cool because it actually did work out pretty well. We definitely have learned what we can improve for next year and make things a lot better. And it was really cool seeing people like Liz and Ray, who came out from Georgia, I believe, and Robert Woodward, who came out from Arkansas. I know I probably said that wrong, but whatever. But it just the community members that we have are amazing, because Liz and Ray, they showed up like a day earlier and they're like, hey, what can we do to help? Robert, he flew out over here, and then he's like, hey, I'm buying a smoker and a shit ton of meat. I'm gonna be up there, and we're gonna get it set up, and we'll have some good smoked meats Saturday night. I'm like, by all means, dude. So yeah,
life can be as simple and as fun as you can make it when you do stuff like this. But like, it's kind of weird. Like the corporations, they know that people can't think and be improvisational like this and have fun, and so they'll sell you like a $15,000 vacation to Walt Disney World, when really, like, most people were maybe at best out a few $100. They got to hang out with their friends. They got to eat smoked meat instead of bullshit. And like, I'll tell you what, like that Royce guy, he came from my neck of the woods. He said he had the time of his life. You guys will remember that until your dying day, not because of Galaxy's Edge, but because of shooting potatoes, glow in the dark potato. How many times are you going to do that in your life? Like that. I mean, it's like,
well, if you got potato cannons,
that's how many first times?
Yeah, but that's the stuff that you wish when the minutes in your life are kind of running down. I hate to be grim here, but you wish you did more of, and you guys did it, and I am so proud that you guys did that. Not proud as in like I take ownership. I'm just like, wow, those guys are really living. And sometimes when I'm glued to this keyboard or doing Galaxy's Edge stuff, I think to myself, I should go do more things like that. I know work the rifle every day, do that kind of stuff, but you got to do more stuff. But I just am blown away that you guys had that experience, and I'm not jealous, but I'm envious that you guys will have that forever. And imagine if it becomes a 20-year thing and you guys all grow old together, and it's cool. Like, you can't buy that experience in any store, so I doff my hat to you.
Well, thank you.
Jason won't let me have any hats.
And as
hats for people.
as long as I'm still kicking and screaming, I'm gonna be putting on this event. I'm going to be devoting myself to this community because I do care about this community. This community does amazing things. Every November, you guys do the Mission 22 stuff. This event, we raised over $1,000 to donate straight to Mission 22 from selling or from raffling off the bucket that was made by another Discord member, Walt's knife that was made by another Discord member, and then a whole bunch of cool special things that Jason had. So I'm extremely proud of everybody in our community because
things they take
they care about the veterans, which is we got to support them,
Yeah, because you guys are people. Jason says I'm not people.
Look,
this is my Jason look.
I'll pull the death face.
So, do you have any images that you managed to grab? Because the link that you sent me for Google isn't letting me open it.
Yeah.
You could share.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do here.
Nick, I want to get you a sticker made that says "Opinions are for people, and you're not people."
Let me share.
Every day of my life. Jason says he's holding all my earnings until I become people.
All right, so I'm sharing out the screen.
Something to shoot for, man.
Let's see. This is Kale, and he was of course that was cut off, but yeah, he was about to talk about the War Game Oklahoma, but there's a bucket right there that we raffled off and had the badass KTF on the side. Doc was doing his CQB class, talk about how you carry a rifle and pistol, and what the different carry levels are and stuff like that. It was really cool having him out. He did a phenomenal job. He even had us out doing drills.
Doc is a rock star, man.
Yeah, he was amazing. But he got everybody understood on this is how you carry, this is how you move, this is how you come online, and it was really cool to see. This we had our tent or whatever, and then this was being shot from the mess tent that we had assembled. Like I said, we're not going to be fucking with these tents anymore. We're going to be just getting a straight up, pavilion that they come out and they stake down, and it's like, okay, cool. We're not going to have to put this up every morning. But yeah, and then of course Robert was working the smoker with his son. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Is that you, Cadwell, in that picture?
What was that?
Is that you in that picture?
Yeah.
Boy, you're tall.
He's freakishly tall.
That's what I'm told.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Oh wow! I didn't think you were tall.
It's the camera, right?
I don't mean to say that. You just like you meet people, like it's a weird thing in Hollywood. You think some people are short, and then you meet them and they're tall.
Yeah. But this was the guys all geared up for airsoft. Royce was over here with his Tyrus Rex. Yeah. And then that's Chris and Ray. And it was funny because let me see if I can get a picture of Robert. I think that's Robert, right? No. But Robert, he actually managed to post up right behind a tree and they could not get him, and I think he was the oldest out of everybody. Yeah, that's Robert right there. But he's the oldest out of everybody. He's just sitting there, just doming people left and right, and they're like, "We can't get him. He's too squirrely." But
gotta be aware of those old guys. Sometimes they surprise you.
Old age and treachery.
He must have learned that from Doc.
Yeah. And then Saturday night we had everybody, it's a small enough group, so we just had everybody come into the house, and we did our feast in there, and then afterwards we ended up playing some games and stuff. In the morning we did some more potato cannon stuff. That was fun. Let me see. But
Those are sexy buckets.
You got Kale's tattoo.
Yeah, Kale was showing off his tattoo.
What a loser.
Sunday we actually did a Forgotten Ruin playtest.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so Dr. Phil over here, he was our dungeon master for the time, and everybody was doing character sheets. We had snacks and everything, and Kale and Robert, they were the two corporals, and man, they were just having too much fun riffing off each other. Like, hey, think we can go hook up with those elf chicks? It's like, well, let's just sneak off and go get a beer. And it's like, no, come back over here. We got to focus on this.
That's why me and Kale get along so well. Now I know. I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it worked out pretty great, and a lot of people had fun. I'm should be getting the videos finalized and posted this weekend. But yeah, it'll look great.
So you're definitely doing another one next year?
Always, yeah.
So
the plan for next year.
You'll go, JR?
All things willing, yeah. We Daniel and I were talking about in the pre-show. That's we're working on arranging some things. That's why he's gonna get the date sooner rather than later, so more people who didn't have time to plan could get there.
And the court order should be off by then, right? So you'll be able to move out of state.
Yeah.
You won't have the ankle bracelet. You can go 30 feet from your home.
Daniel, do you have any schools near you that we could worry about?
No, that's a benefit right there because
What about old folks' homes?
That's
a big one.
This is Whidbey Island. So Whidbey Island is a fantastic place. You got the Navy base and everything, but you've also got a lot of people that when they come here, they're like, "Holy shit, this place is actually pretty cool." And then they just like leave, and then they come back and they retire over here. So there's actually a lot of old veterans and stuff over here. But one of the things that we were thinking about is instead of at the end of August, we're gonna maybe move it a month earlier to the end of July, because that might be a lot easier for more people, especially on the East Coast, because I guess schools. Yeah.
And is there a hotel for everybody to stay at, or is that anywhere around there?
We're thinking about doing a hybrid event where we would get it set up so that people could stay at a hotel. Honestly, the easiest way to get to the island is you fly into SeaTac and then you hop on the SeaTac shuttle, and it takes you right into town. Like literally 10 minutes away from the property, and then you can get a hotel room in town, or you can come out here and you can camp. We have some ideas for actually getting like maybe RV trailers out for people, so that way people could camp out in luxury and stuff like that. Just make it a lot easier. But that's stuff that we're working on right now.
You should buy like 12 old Econoline vans with wizards painted on the side, and then turn them into little staycation glamping hotels, and people can rent them.
Yeah.
Every van, you're like, this van's a rocking. Don't come knocking.
Exactly.
So I know you've got to leave soon. So what advice would you give to someone who is involved and they insert their favorite, property of books, whatever, that wants to take it to the next level? Like what advice would you give somebody?
I would advise that you find a common group of people that are actually committed to helping out. I was lucky enough that most of the people that are in our community are very committed. Um, Kale just needed to get flown out, but you know, as soon as he came out, he was already helping, and that was fantastic. All the people that did come out, they had no issues with lending a hand and stuff like that, and even helping on the planning aspect of things. So it's not a one man show. It's a team effort, and you really should focus on building a good team to work together. And it shouldn't be just all one person. It should be everybody working together for a common goal.
I would tell everybody that dug it and wants to do it again, what Daniel said is if you don't want this to continue, make it a one-man show, because that guy will wear out and he'll be done, and then you won't have it. But if you want to turn this into a lifetime thing where you're there for each other and it's awesome, and then pick a task and take over and own it, because and the things you build together are the best things. Like when you got an enemy in the neighborhood and you and Bob and Kevin and Sue get together and you dig a hole and Sue goes and buys the lime and you distract the guy and you hit him over the head with the shovel and you take him out and bury him in the woods. Like, it's a thing that you guys have all done together. It's a thing that you'll remember forever.
It's a bonding experience that nobody talks about ever again.
It's a bonding experience. Not that asshole's dead, and his wife.
That's a plus. Big deal.
Yeah, and she always goes by. You're like, where's Ted? And you're like, well, I don't know. He was a cheater, But you know exactly where Ted is. He is out in the orchard, and the wolves are digging him up. And
I got 12 acres for a reason.
He was an asshole. He didn't return the weed whacker. You don't return the weed whacker. That's what happens, Ted. That's what happens.
It's facts. That's facts.
So how many people came to the event, Daniel?
I'd say about 20 to 25, because we had a couple people day tripped. So most of the people stayed throughout the weekend, and then some people popped in for a day, and then they had to bounce out because family obligations and stuff like that. But I know that me getting it all planned for next year, it's going to be a lot easier for people plan that out. I've already got the AAR pretty much written up and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping to. Go ahead.
Is there a max limit on how big it can grow? Because you've done events at your house.
Shit. We can have as many people out here as we want. I mean, we honestly do have the land for it, and I can always talk to my neighbor and be like, "Hey, it's cool if we rent out that pasture for extended operations," and they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." So, yeah.
Okay. All right, Billy, it's your turn next. You get to be on the hot seat because I know Daniel has to go milk those cows. But how did you first? As you
all have fun.
How did you find Galaxy's Edge?
Pretty much the same way that Dan said. It was I was reading through a couple different series on Audible, listening through, and I kept freaking seeing Legionnaire and Galaxy's Edge Part 1, and I was like, okay, I mean, it looks pretty cool. Let me add that to the wish list, and then finally got it, listened to about half of it, and then a new book came out for my other series that I was in the middle of, and I was like, pause. Finished this book, and then went, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I'm going to give that another shot, and then went through and listened to Legionnaire, and then that was right, I think up to Part 3 had released at that time. So that's whenever I got into it pretty early, and every single time a new book came out, I didn't care if I had to spend a credit or buy it. I was buying it. I was getting that book. I was devouring it. And before I even knew about the Facebook page or the Discord or anything like that, I had already told my brother about it. I'm like, dude, you've got to read this. It is absolutely phenomenal. I really think you'll dig it. And so he got into it. Now he's the same level I am. He's read every single book. He's fully caught up. Finally got Mom into it. Mom's caught up. And then I was like, I wonder if there's a fan page. who knows? Let's look on Facebook. And there it was. And joined that, found out about the insiders, got the insiders, and was like, yeah, I'm doing this a year at a time. I'm never not going to be an insider. This is my new thing, and I'm sticking with it because I haven't stuck with a lot. And then got the PC built, found out about Discord, found out about the Oba Cafe, and went, yeah, I'm in this. I'm gonna be part of this. I like being involved with this. I just like the community. Like Dan said, I mean, I found my tribe again. It was like after getting out, it was I'm cutting concrete. I'm doing this job. I'm doing this job. I'm doing this job. And now I've got this group of people that whenever I get off work, I can just go, I can be weird. I can be a nerd. I can geek out about this random shit that happened in the book. And it seems important, but it's, I mean, let's be honest, it's a fiction book. It's not real world important. It doesn't carry any weight towards real world events, but I don't give a shit. It's for me, and it's important for me. So I'm in it, like to the point where I got the tattoo. I mean, I said this is something I'm very serious about, and especially after, I mean, I was like, let me see if he'll actually approve this. And I sent Nick and Jason a friend request on Facebook, and they did. And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. That's my starstruck moment. That's neat. And then, and I've said it on the Galaxy's Edge podcast, but I'll say it here. 3 years ago, my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and she's totally good. She beat it. But she had breast cancer, and I shared her post about it, where she was decided to tell people that she was experiencing this. She had to get out of the Navy for it. And Nick messaged me. And then before I saw the message, I saw that he had commented on the post that I'm praying for you. Anything you need, let me know. God works in great ways. And he had messaged me and said, hey man, I'm serious. And I was like, this guy's a real freaking human. This isn't like a publicist handling his public persona. Like this is actually this dude, and he's writing these books that are so influential to me and how I go about my life just because of some of the character development, that I was like, I am in this shit. Like they would have to like ban me to get me to stop consuming their products. And it's just grown into so much that I'm still just a dude that reads the books and really likes the books. Like I haven't written in the universe. I haven't, I'm not a Discord mod. I'm not a Facebook mod. I'm just a super fan, and I think this is cool as shit. And now it's grown into something that's more, which is this little logo next to me. And if you want, JR, I can talk about that or whatever other question.
Sure. Yeah, well, that's what we're going to hit next. But first, you mentioned that you were a veteran. So do you think your time in uniform affected the way you engaged with the content?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, even if it wasn't, this aspect, or, this guy got shot, or you the first time you shot somebody, the first time you got shot at, or even something as small as dealing with bureaucracy, or dealing with ROEs, or dealing with a point, or like a shitty leadership. We've all had those experiences, no matter what generation of the military you come from. And I absolutely resonated with a lot of that stuff. And I've always been a huge addict for action and gunfights and just over the top crap. Like you're just like, there's no way a human could pull that off. But then you go, oh wait, I'm reading these books. They've got awesome armor that helps them do this thing. Okay, that makes sense. I'm a big fan. I'm a part of it. I like it. And boy, how nice would it have been to have a freaking N-18 in Afghanistan? Or holy shit, orbital support? Can we have that yet? Like, what are we doing? Why do we not have that?
Well,
some people have it.
Some people have it.
So
but some people are not people. So
that's true. That's true.
That's right.
Jason
Nick.
says so.
Stay in your lane.
He writes the paychecks that maybe one day Chaos Actual will get to receive, and then he could buy some donuts and turn on the heat.
I'll get orbital support.
So how did your love of the books, and you liked it enough, you got the tattoo, transition into you getting as actively involved as, that logo, which is you organizing an airsoft team? And can you talk about that?
So first off, I will say this: I didn't organize it. I was just the peer pressure in Kale's ear. So Caleb, who went to the event, he had messaged me because me and him and Bubba in the Discord have gotten to be like the three amigos. We're like, they are my best friends. And up until this last weekend, I had never met them in person. They were my strange internet friends, and I was their strange internet friend. But every night playing video games, every night we're talking about this stuff. Every night we're talking about this weird book series that we like and the weird authors that sometimes come out of their caves. But it turned into Caleb saying, hey guys, there's this event called War Game, and it's a massive milsim airsoft event, and I want to know if you guys want to come to it, because Bubba lives a little closer to me. And I was like, you know what, man, this is 8 months out. I'm buying a plane ticket tonight. And he goes, what? And I said, I don't care, taxes just came back, let's do it. Let's spend my money that I just got permission to use again. So I bought the plane ticket, and he's like, you know how, he goes, what if we I don't know, what if we came up with some, like if we bulk bought some swag from GE, and we donated it and let them give it away at the raffle to kind of spread the word, since that's kind of like the binder for us. Like that's what brought us together. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool. He's like, I don't know if I should. That's me right there with the AK.
Outstanding.
But
trigger discipline too. We approve.
It's what I do.
You look completely operator.
Oh no! Wait, there's better pictures in here where I look stupid as shit, and it's so good.
Well,
so
we all have that, but like if you get the operator moment, cool. But like,
oh yeah,
there's also the moment where you got crap in your pants, and you're like,
I don't know what to do. So Kale was like, I don't know, man. You think you'll go for it? And I was like, dude, quit being a wuss. Just shoot. I said, if you don't message him, I will. I said, if you do not message Jason about this, I will. Hey, who's that guy? He looks kind of like a chungo.
I'm just saying, you got the porn stash, so you got that going for you.
You're welcome. So he reached out. He messaged Jason. He says, hey, sir, could we buy some loot in bulk, like a couple copies of Legionnaire, a couple copies of Forgotten Ruin, maybe some hats and stuff, and then we'd like to donate them to Wargame. And Jason went, break. Number one, I'm super interested in this idea. Number two, I would like to be put in contact with the people that own this field and they own the event. And number three, why don't we just like sponsor you guys as an official team? And Kale went, what? And he goes, no, I'm serious. Why don't we sponsor you as an official team? You go to this event, you represent our brand, and as you put up a picture of Kale with a grog shot in his hand. It's great. And he says, why don't you go and you represent our brand and you spread the word of Galaxy's Edge and Forgotten Ruin? And we're like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the coolest shit ever. I can't believe this is happening. So Kale made a Discord. We started talking to people, inviting people, and people that responded, we said, here's your criteria. You must be an insider. You must have read at least the first book. We'd prefer you to read up to Kill Team so you know what Dark Ops is about. We are forming a Kill Team. We are going to this event. We are going to stay together as a group. We're getting team shirts made. It's sponsored. It's a real thing that's happening. Get there, and at the end of it, I think we had 9 or 10 people, and we were the biggest team as far as the different sides of the event went. We were the single biggest group of people that went to this, and it turned into that. It was like the other weekend when we were there, it was, I can't believe I'm actually here. This is the coolest shit I've ever seen. And according to the guys that own the event, Jason did in fact get in touch with them, and they had a game a couple weeks before this where they sent you guys sent a bunch of copies of Forgotten Ruin to them, and they were devoured. The people that were there and the admin staff were like, whoa, wait a minute, you guys are from Galaxy's Edge? Hold on. They're the one, yeah, they're the ones that write Forgotten Ruin. We're like, absolutely. And they're like, holy shit, this is cool, dude. The books are amazing. It's so good. And it was just constantly that, people that had read these books And they were like, dude, there's so many for Forgotten Ruin. I said, well, buckle up, kiddo. Wait till you get onto Galaxy's Edge. There's like fucking 30 of them. And they were blown away. And all we got all weekend was, hey, we need this objective captured. Where is Kill Team Reaver at? And I was like, we're over here. And they're like, you guys go over there and do this. And we're like, word, we'll get it done. And we went and got it done. We had fun, man.
So let's pause real quick. Who are the ladies?
So the ladies are, from right to left, you've got Kelpie, Caleb's wife, whose Discord name call sign is Barber Wife, and then Caleb's two sisters. So they are the Republic Logistics. And there's a picture in there of them with the back of their shirt. They got their own design. And they basically followed us around. Mostly Caleb's wife did it a lot. They followed us around with a camera. They wore those shirts. They had a red plate carrier on and a face mask. And they were our camera team. They were our combat camera. And so they followed us around and took all the pictures. Tried not to give away our positions because they're in a bright-ass blue shirt and we're hiding in the woods. And we're like, you need to go over there. I get it. Take pictures, but go over. They're looking at you and they see, what are you doing, woman? Go away. I'm sorry. And but yeah, they were A, the camera team, and B, his sisters were the child wranglers because they, Caleb and his wife, they brought their 3 kids and kept them at camp.
The logo.
Yeah, there's the logo. So the Reaper with the N4 and the sword is like a spin-off of ours, which is the Reaper Liege with the scythe and the N4. But yeah, man, and Kelpie there on the end, she was actually a member of the play team, and she's the one that made these shirts. She got permit, me, Kale, and her got permission from Jason to use the GE logo on the sleeve, and put the art on there. And he's like, absolutely, it's a team shirt. You better do it anyways. So we did that. And it was, man, when we were back at camp, we were all rocking our team shirts and people were coming up to us going, man, you guys were everywhere out there today. And, also thanks for helping clean up, cause we were picking up trash as we went, we're representing a brand that we're super passionate about. Why are we going to be assholes and leave it dirty?
Yeah.
And like Kale got to get up and say stuff at the grog ceremony, which is a very important thing in the militaries. I'm sure both of y'all know. I mean, they went into detail of why the grog was important through every conflict that the United States has been part of. And it was absolutely amazing. The grog was so good. It was so very good. Oh, God, it was good. We had 4 shots because Kale likes to call people out. And it was just great. The whole time it was great. Anyways.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to pause real quick and just thank those lovely ladies so much. And that's so cool that they, they dug into the whole thing and had fun. I got to talk to Jason about doing something for them specifically, but if you can just pass on how awesome that is.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely will.
For people that aren't particularly interested in airsoft, but thought what you were doing is cool, is there any way where they could buy the t-shirts and that money fund potentially future events? Is that something you guys are looking at for next year?
So we're looking at that. So I was a bit of a test bed. So I've got my team shirt that I wore to the event, which is the executive officer shirt. But I've also got one that's a little bit different of a design. And what we're doing is we're calling this shirt the event shirt. This is the War Game 2022 shirt. We then have a Kill Team Reaver team shirt. And we're looking at, this does have an IP on it, which is the sleeve, the icon on the sleeve. And we don't want to step on anything, but what we're thinking about doing is, further discussions with Jason, potentially putting Kelpie's company logo on there, who put the shirts on, the AM logo. If there's an issue there, but possibly, yeah, hey, you want a Kill Team Reaver shirt, to show your support, blah, blah. We may have something like that in the future where you can go to the site, you can pick up the shirt, you can support, and that support will fund our trips to these events or fund gear for these events and stuff like that. And that's the eventual goal.
I want to jump in and ask, like, okay, so is this a league, or are they in like league play yet, or is there a winner at the end of the day
For this event?
Or like, yeah.
So they'll probably have it by mid next week. The final tally of what side won.
Right.
But there's no. I mean, I think there's some prizes for the winning side. Like if you were on the winning side, you may get a discount for the next year's ticket or something to that effect. But mostly we have this huge event, and we own this property, and we really like this style because they do paintball and they do airsoft. And mostly it's like not field rental, but field / event money. And I don't think that they have a league. I think it's just, hey, we put on these annual events for this sport, and this sport. Come out and participate in these events, and the more people that come out and participate, the more widely recognized we get, to get more people to come in. You know, it's just a cycle that they do.
How many people would you say were there that weekend?
Oh God, maybe 300.
Maybe 300.
Yeah.
And there are other events at other places, or just here so far?
So this field is massive. I mean, it is absolutely huge. It's several hundred acres, and they can separate it into certain smaller areas to hold different types of events in. But the paintball event, I know they do a big, massive paintball event that's the whole field. I know they do an airsoft event and a paintball event that are just the town in the middle, which is like 2 acres, I think, and it's just cover to cover movement. And I know that I think they also do like field rentals for like local teams and stuff that want to come practice or do their own events and things like that. But the company that puts this on is called Mud Crab Milsim, and so they've got a Facebook, they've got an Instagram presence, and they just do massive Milsim events like this, and it's super awesome.
Yeah.
And I do want to shout out to Caleb and Daniel. Unfortunately, he's gone right now, but my team shirt apparently was the only one that received a modification, and I think you'll like it, Nick. So on the sleeve here, I've got SOG T.
Nice.
And SOG T is the Galaxy's Edge equivalent of SAL T.
That's true.
And I think it's Special Observer of Gravity and Terrains.
Yes.
And I didn't notice it. I had no idea it was on my shirt. I was wearing the shirt for like a day and a half. No idea. We're back Saturday evening, and Kelpie looks over and goes, "So, Archangel, are you going to say anything about your shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like the shirt." And she goes, "No, stupid, the sleeve." And I went, "Oh my God, what is that? That's so cool. Oh yeah." And he's like, "Well, we can't do Sal T, but we'll get you something." And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty neat."
You created a legendary character that flat out broke me.
Oh man, it blew me away that they did something, and that's part of it too, right? It's being part of something where people do nice things for other people. Like, I'm not used to that shit, and they thought enough to do something like that for me, and I thought that was the coolest damn thing in the world.
Yeah,
you know,
that is so cool.
And that's from the community.
Yeah, and it's the same thing that I said to Daniel about what they did there this year. Like, Galaxy's Edge, whatever. You guys will remember this weekend for the rest of your lives. And just finally, shooting people is always fun.
Oh my God, so good.
Contrary to what anybody tells you. But the downtime and just getting to actually be together with people, that aren't like so many of our interactions now, where everybody's coming at each other, knives out and teeth bared, and, are you this? And like, I don't care. We like Galaxy's Edge and shooting people in the grass. I hope I don't get a tick on my ass.
Kale got so many ticks on his legs because he didn't blouse his boots. And I said, "What did we learn, stupid? I don't have any ticks. I'm smart." And he goes, "I know."
So what was involved in getting, like, obviously, you have to go to this event, where was this held at?
This was in a place called Wyandotte, Oklahoma, at D-Day Adventure Park. And it was, again, put on by Mud Crab Milsim. So out in the middle of freaking nowhere, Oklahoma. It's in that part where nobody knows what happens. Nobody knows what really goes on there.
All of Oklahoma is the middle of nowhere.
That's fair.
pretty much.
It was my first trip to the state, and I was like, man, this is exactly like Florida, but worse because it's the same temperature and there's elevation changes, and I don't like that.
But Okies are the nicest people in the entire world. The nicest people in the entire world. I'm half Okie.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, they're the nicest. I mean, well, I'm the bad half, but no, I mean, like I would go running in Oklahoma and Arkansas, and people would, you need a ride? Why are you running? You're like, I'm just trying to stay healthy. All that chicken fried steak is going to kill you.
So first off, we have to give our shout out to the ladies that were your cameramen, because some of those are professional quality pictures.
Yeah.
And I imagine they didn't have professional quality cameras because that's expensive.
Most of that was from a cell phone, my dude.
I know, but I'm just telling you that the quality is good.
Yeah,
JR, I need to see you with these dudes.
Yeah. I don't think they had maternity uniforms yet, but we'll work on it.
I need to see you kitted up, NCO.
Oh, and I've got to say, there was another guy that was going to be there, but literally Thursday, like as I was about to get on a plane, he called Caleb and was like, "Hey man, I just tested positive for COVID, and I don't think I'm going to make it, and I don't feel comfortable coming." And we're like, that really sucks. Like that really sucks, because it was Bubba. We're like, this is no. Like all three of us are supposed to be there at the very least. No, and we're super bummed out. And then Saturday evening or Saturday about midday, I get a message from Bubba that says, "I'm on my way." I said, "What?" And he goes, "I am on my way," because he took another test and it tested negative. So his girlfriend's like, "Get in the car. I'm taking you to this freaking event. You're showing your face." And he's like, "But I feel like shit." And she goes, "I don't care." So he did make it out. He made it out for a couple hours on Saturday night. I forgot to send those to you, JR, but I've got them. We took some pictures with him. He brought his airsoft Barrett that we used.
Nice.
Because we also shot a promo video for Galaxy's Edge and Dark Ops. Walt is a kind and gentle soul, and he recorded some voice lines for a script that myself and Bubba wrote. And then it was me and Zero Balance, which is the guy next to Caleb on the left side there. Zero was the sniper, so he's also the one that printed the buckets. He's the one that made the bucket for the raffle up in Washington. So he brought his bucket. I had mine. We two-man assaulted an MCR outpost. I retrieved identifying tags from a fallen Legionnaire. We exfilled and deaded the structure with no one knowing we were there. So we've got that. I've got that footage. I've got to get it edited. I'll probably get it done next week on my off day. And I'm not going to post it anywhere. I'm going to send it to the Emperors so that y'all can do with it what you will.
We'll be alone in our bunks with it.
No, of course, because it's two Dark Ops Legions moving through an open field without getting spotted. Sniper takes one out, and then here comes me just appearing behind an MCR guy and freaking stabs him in the neck without him ever knowing I was there. It's dope. So
yeah. Those are some sexy looking buckets too.
I'm telling you, man, they're pretty good.
Did you guys wear them for the event, or were they not rated for the safety feature?
No, so the visors are definitely not safety rated. They don't have the proper ANSI rating. The goal is to make one that is, because look at it, just with some fans, because it's off hot.
Yeah, and if you could get some Ear Pro in there too, even though it's airsoft, Ear Pro is great for detection.
Oh, absolutely! Like I wore my throat mic and everything, and it's got the ambient.
Yeah.
So it was playing into my left ear, so I could hear mufflers sneaking up in the woods.
My tinnitus is so bad, I hear better with my Ear Pro.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to,
JR, how bad is your tinnitus, Gunner?
What?
Pretty bad.
What?
Well, at least you're never alone, right?
That's right. Sometimes I have to turn the hearing aids off just so I get a moment of silence. Though.
And everybody who's not like JR was a full-on gun truck commando. and drove a very dangerous route. And he can't hear for your freedom. So I just want you to know that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're
so
welcome
if somebody
for
wanted
my
to
service, bitches.
So if someone wanted to start a team and I don't know, be something cool like a Legion Reserve or a Hull Buster or a Repub Basic, like, is that something like, could you, like, what would be involved in someone wanting to get involved in this? Aside from just,
I mean, absolutely. Like, start your team, do your thing. Like, if you want to start, a team, go nuts, have a freaking blast with it. The only reason that ours may be a little bit different, and hell, you may get the same treatment. I don't know what's in Jason's brain hole, but
I don't think Jason knows half the time, but that's part of his charm.
That's fair. That's why we have Nick to do his best to translate.
I'm not people.
No, you're a translator. What did I just say? Stay in your lane, Nick. I'm kidding. No, yeah, absolutely. If you want to start like an airsoft team or something, or like a milsim team or paintball team or whatever, and you want to base it off of Galaxy's Edge, dude, I am sure that these guys do not care. Like, rock your patches, rock your gear, talk about the books, spread the word, make them some Ferrari money for free.
No, we don't buy ads. We try not to buy ads like our competitors do on Amazon because we think it's a rigged game. But anytime that's how we've gotten involved in Mission 22 and this and a few other projects. When people come to me and they say we're willing to put it in the sweat equity, we're like, okay, we will push supplies forward to you to rep it. We always like to see the credibility, but I think honestly, this exceeded, I think, what you guys put into this, what we thought. And I'm honestly, and he uses the word honestly twice. When people use the word honestly, that usually means they're lying. I'm not lying. I need to have a conversation honestly with Jason about pushing this harder and not, we didn't know this time, but I think this is a huge avenue. And I just like how much fun you guys are having and memories you're building. And if not this, then why are we doing this? Like, that's been our thing about just like giving people this opportunity to finally have some fun. I don't know how, I think you live in the free state of Florida, but if you live in California, man, we're running out of fun. And so I'm jealous.
See how fun this is?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta keep mine buried out under concrete in the yard. FBI, it's not.
It was a boating accident. It's going to happen to anybody.
That was the most disingenuous chuckle I've ever heard in my life. It's not. Stay off of my property. Anyways.
Yeah, you better come with a warrant. I love people having fun because that's what's been sorely missing. And I love that the guy tests for COVID, goes back and gets another test because that tells you he wanted to be there, is still sick as a dog, and probably had COVID, whatever the fuck COVID is. Excuse my language. And his girlfriend said, "I'm taking you there." And he got to do it, and he's probably, just that's, and he's jelly that you guys got hands on with the Barrett. He'll be back. Oh, yeah, but I would love, this is the premier team. First in always gets premier status. But, if you want to make the 10th, the 75th, Rex's Dogs, which is the 101st, you want to make the 82nd, you want to make Kill Team Ice, you want to make Kill Team Ghost, you want to make Kill Team whatever, you want to, I don't know, like if you're super weird, you could be Strange Company, but those guys are assholes.
And you've got to do copious amounts of hyper narcotics before you can even function.
You're gonna have to have like dreadlocks. You're gonna have to have like voodoo beads and love beads and
a plate carrier. I love it.
Plate carrier. You're gonna be out there. You're just gonna be a complete mess. You will get it done.
So I'll tell you about these two real quick. These are prototypes. I gave away the real ones, the ones that were functional. So it doesn't show up super well on camera, but this is the Kill Team Reaver logo 3D printed.
Yes.
So we made challenge coins. Bubba designed them. I prototyped them and painted them. So this is the LMOF, the LMOF. Instead of the Congressional Medal of Honor, this is the Legion Medal of Fuck Off. That's cool. And it says it on the back here, and it's got the Kill Team Reaver logo on the front. So I only managed to get 2 of them done. They were black with brushed silver logo on them, and I gave these out to the guy that owned the field and the guy that put the event on. And he looked at it and he goes, "This is dope. This is y'all's patch." And I'm like, "No shit." And he flipped it around and he goes, "What? What?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, there's more of that to come. Don't even worry." So I thought this was a pretty neat idea. And I'm going to be printing some more of these. And everybody that came, like all of our members, also got a sticker of our patch, and I printed everybody a little Dark Ops Legionnaire bucket keychain, like the one that I made for myself. So everybody, there's 15 of those out there now in the world, just little Legionnaire bucket keychains, and so it was fun. It was just the experience was unreal. Just being able to actually see these humans, that they're real people.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's Jason and I's big plan is to have an amusement park someday, and we're legitimate serious. But we want to have it based around a mall, and we're going to call it the 80s Mall. And
nice.
We're going to call it a retro mall. And we're going to have rides and everything like that in a hotel. And you gotta check your cell phone into the lockers outside before you go in. And then you got to be with people who like Galaxy's Edge, and go get an Orange Julia, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but this is a step in that direction, and I am blown away by what you guys did. That's pretty cool. I wish I would have been there. I'm gonna try to go to Oklahoma. We're trying to get together a book tour next summer with Larry Correa, where we drive around in a van.
Come to Florida.
Yeah, and just like book sign at gun ranges.
Could be a panel van for reasons.
Yeah, well, I know. I want an Econo. Do you know what an Econo line van is? You guys are too young, right?
I've seen them.
It's the 70s van.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the dude would put a wizard on the side, and a hot chick, and I want to do a Galaxy's Edge Econo line 70s van, but I want to make the inside a merch transport so that we can take it around to events. And then what we would do for this is just shuttle it down to you guys loaded with swag, and then you guys get to drive it around.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would be dope. Yeah. Big plans. Here's Jason's face when I suggest that.
No. Yeah. And I will say that for the raffle, they asked me and Kale to come up and talk about why we were there and what we were about. So we got to the assembled masses talk about Galaxy's Edge, talk about you guys' work, Strange Company, Forgotten Ruin, all of it, Tier 1000. We talked about everything you guys have done. And that's whenever we were finding out that most people were like, "Oh yeah, Forgotten Ruin, I fucking love that book. That's so good. I didn't know they wrote this too." So we got to talk about that. We threw a bunch of stickers and a bunch of wristbands and stuff out. And then we had one of the black multicam KTF logoed hats. We had 2 of those and 2 copies of Order of the Centurion.
Wow.
And that was the raffle prizes. So there was this kid there. He was like 10 or 11, and he was kicking ass. Like, he was helping, he was volunteering, he was moving like crates of water that were bigger than him. And he was helping one of our members, and she's like, "Guys, I really want to give this kid a patch." Because that's what you do at airsoft events. You give patches. And she's like, "I really want to give him a Reaver patch." So we're like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So she went over and gave it to him. And then the kid won one of the raffle prizes. So he got the KTF hat and he got the book. And I was like, "What are the chances of that? That's awesome." He's like, "I'm definitely reading this book." And I looked at his dad and I was like, "It's probably fine for him." He goes, "He can read it if he wants." I'm like, "Cool. It's cool, Dad."
I don't care. I let him look at my stuff. It's weird.
I was like, "By the way, this is Space Vietnam," and he's like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah, not my kid. I married him.
So what would be the youngest, real talk that you would say this is appropriate? I mean, other than the violence, wouldn't see any reason if they're old enough to actually read that level of book. I would say they're probably okay with it. But what do you think?
Yeah,
Nick?
we encourage. I don't think there's anything really wrong in Legionnaire or anything like that.
I let my kids read it.
One time, I wrote a book called The Old Man in the Wasteland, and I thought it was fine. And this school teacher wrote me. He's like, "I want all my kids to read this." So I sent him all like 60 copies. And then he started writing me, and he's like, this one chapter is super inappropriate for sixth graders. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that chapter.
They read it anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, I just stopped answering the guy's emails. It got so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm not people. Click.
The user you're searching for has been disconnected. This is an email. The user's disconnected.
Yeah, he's Nick's dead. Not here. Thank you. Come again. Don't write back.
Well, this has been a fun chat about, basically the secret to building community is just be people and hang out with people who have interests that you like, and you can build cool things that doesn't have all the drama of the quote unquote fandom. That the word Nick almost didn't come on the podcast because I used it because I just used it generically. So it's the trick is be human and be cool to people is what I'm hearing.
You can't say that, JR. We've already established Nick is not people.
I'm not people.
But he knows people who.
I'm not worried about hurting his feelings because not people don't have feelings. That's for people.
Is it true the moon god was the little man was based on you, Nick, and how Jason treats you?
Moon god pushing Jabba. Yep. 100%.
Based on how Nick treats you.
Be my autobiography at Galaxy's Edge.
Dude, at least you get a dope ass fast helmet.
Exactly.
It's true. No, all right, so anyway. We talked about Nick doesn't do the marketing. He lets the fans sort of spread the good word. So part of what you can do, dear listener, is please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right books. Writing and reading is sort of a symbiosis right there. They write them, you review them, so other people will read them, and they can afford to pay their editor for round 2 because they're not cheap.
Yes. And we've got to get that. We've got to get Reservist 2 out there.
Well, I mean, when I was late and then I messed up your production schedule. So Jason told me it might be a wait. So
no, it's okay. How's you and Jim's book coming?
We're making progress. We're writing the end of book 1 and outlined book 2 now that we know. So it'll be starting book 2 this month.
Wonderful. Jim's doing okay?
Yeah, he's doing good. Okay. So Nick, before we let you go, because if people really dig what picking up what you're laying down, how can listeners find you?
They could, I would just say, like, if you just want this Nick, but like less in your face and political, just go over to Instagram and look at, hot pictures of me and my wife. She's hot. She's easy on the eyes. If you figured out that you might be like me a little bit, I don't know, then go to my Facebook page and enjoy that experience. If you are not opposed to, like, if you read Madame Guillotine and you dug the ending of Madame Guillotine, head on over to Twitter and enjoy that dumpster fire.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. And as usual, that will all be in the show notes. So, Billy, is there any way for them to find, other than just the Discord, which will link to all the GE stuff, to find your Kill Team stuff if they want to get involved for next year?
We actually do have an Instagram. It is Kill Team Reaver with no spaces. We don't have much on there yet because we're still going through and editing the photos. There's hundreds and hundreds of photos. But yeah, Kill Team Reaver on Instagram. And then if you're interested in potentially joining Kill Team Reaver, he's gonna hate me for this, but shoot Kayla a message. He'll be a big fan. Thanks, sir. That's awesome.
Yeah, this will be another feather for the FBI to come and pick me up.
There you go.
They were performing operations this weekend, moving to contact. Billy, go bye-bye.
All right, and as usual, dear listeners, all these awesome links will be in the show notes. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/SF_fantasy_show, Sierra Foxtrot _fantasy_show. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Again, blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. You can join us on Facebook where all the shenanigans happen over at facebook.com/groups/a Blasters and Blades podcast. Again, /groups/Blasters and Blades podcast. Until the website's up and running, you can find us on anchor.fm/blasters and blades. Again, anchor.fm/blasters-and-blades, where you can support the show for as little as 99 cents a month, or you can support more directly over at buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to put in the comment section for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts Doc Cisca and Nick Garber duly intoxicated. They will drink until their liver surrenders. But we'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge a love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom, and we'll help Nick hide from the FBI. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thanks for having me.